Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Angel Baby Kyra. Make sure you like and subscribe. Leave me a comment, leave me a hate comment, or don't. Follow me on Instagram, pretty please, and TikTok since I got banned from TikTok. So this is my new TikTok. Please go follow me there. So today's video, I didn't really I was thinking about doing it and I was like, I don't really want to make a drama video. Then I realized that it's more deeper than just a silly petty drama. Even from both parties, how they're explaining it, I think there's a really deeper conversation that needs to be had from the situation that I feel like isn't really talked about. So I'm just gonna give you kind of like the rundown on, and I'll insert their TikToks in between. And I really encourage you guys to go look at it yourselves and come to your own conclusions. But this is my conclusion and just from what I've seen in other people's takes on it. If you don't know who Danisha Carter is, she's basically a TikTok influencer who got a lot of popularity from like hitting it from the camera, having these bright blue contacts, and like obviously she's really gorgeous and pretty and stuff. I think that she's a very striking person. With or without contacts, her beauty is like obviously there. She has a lot of takes on pop culture events, politics, and stuff like that. I've seen her come on my For You page maybe a couple times, but other than that, I don't really engage with her content or really have engaged with her content. So that's my knowledge of her. Apparently, I think she's 28 years old according to famous birthdays. She lives in LA, I believe. Yeah, she's a TikTok influencer. She also has links to her YouTube and her Instagram and yada yada yada. Basically, she was really known for, you know, like calling people out or calling certain things in politics out in a very like robotic kind of way that people thought like she was like an AI robot. Obviously she's not, she's a real person. And that's kind of how she got her popularity, and kind of like her branding was the whole sitting in front of a camera with a blank background and just doing a super monotone robotic voice, and a somewhat condescending tinge is in there when she addresses like not exactly the audience, but kind of just like, you don't agree with me, then obviously like you're dumb. That's giving that kind of vibes.
What matters is that it would have legislatively harmed them. Harm at the highest level, one could argue, as I'd be using the government to do it. So you haven't followed me on Instagram yet. Is there beef or...
So recently, this TikToker named Khalil, I've never heard of him before either, it's no tea, no shade, nothing like that. He came out with like a bunch of videos, and the first video is him saying like, oh, I'm exposing Danisha Carter. He basically says in the video that he met Danisha off of Raya, which is a dating app that's usually, I think it's invite only, and it's usually for like higher profile people, meaning like celebrities, but you know, like influencers and stuff like that that, you know, want to date or whatever, and that don't want to use like Bumble for the peasants, I guess. And I guess the two met off of Raya, and you know, Danisha and Khalil hooked up, and then after that Danisha was, you know, like kind of like texting him a lot, and this was during the LA fires, so Khalil was out volunteering, so it seemed like Danisha kind of crashed out because Khalil wasn't like replying, and I think she kind of got like feelings obviously from this. And I think that's kind of also the problem with like hookup culture in general, is that like it's so like normalized to like, you know, just hook up with someone and then that's pretty much it, and it's just like casual. Some people are into that, some people aren't, but I feel like it's kind of harmful to the psyche. But like if both parties are like okay with that, and like you do you or whatever, like if that's the kind of thing that you want to do, then obviously if you're not committed, I wouldn't say like, okay, go into a committed relationship when obviously you're not ready. So maybe like casual thing is, it's based on a person, you know what I mean? Like if Danisha wasn't like okay with just like casually hooking up with someone, then I don't think she should have like, or she should have like expressed that, you know. But I don't think they were on the same page. I think that's where it kind of gets muddy, like with situationships and stuff like that. And I'm so glad I'm not on dating apps. Like I would not survive currently. I don't know how anyone is doing it these days, but these kinds of situations I feel like are more often than not. Anyways, so Danisha is like blowing up his phone, and Khalil's like, hey, sorry, like I was volunteering. She basically Okay, I'm just gonna show you guys what she said because it's kind of crazy.
Danisha Carter's been harassing me for the last month and a half. Let's talk about it. Over a month and a half ago, we matched on a dating app and I regretfully hooked up with her. Since then, I realized that she not only lied about her age, but she also lied about being pregnant in an attempt to coerce me and emotionally blackmail me into sleeping with her again. That sounds crazy, but I'll show you all the screenshots. But before I address that, I want to address all these comments that your followers are leaving me. You keep spreading claims that I cheated on my girlfriend with you. Whole time I didn't meet the woman that you're referring to until after we hooked up. So let's not get it twisted. And trust and believe, if I met her first, I would have never fucking spoke to you. Me and Danisha hooked up on the night of January 9th. In the days following that, being a true Angelino, I was volunteering with fire relief efforts. Because I was volunteering, I was not texting back quick enough for Danisha's liking, which led to her being very rude to me through text message. Pause to read. In response to that, I just explained that I was busy, but she kept berating me, so I just left her on read and stopped responding. She messaged me 2 or 3 days later apologizing for what she said, and I still didn't respond. A week or two later, Danisha messaged me saying that we need to talk. We spent over 30 minutes on the phone in which Danisha refused to disclose what we needed to talk about, and she said that we could only talk about it in person. Remember that for later. I expressed to her since she was rude, I did not feel comfortable coming over to her house, especially because she was saying I needed to come over at around 9, 10, 11 p.m. I told her we could meet at a cafe and talk about it. She refused, so we ended up getting off the phone. Later that day, she messages me saying that I need to send her my address so her attorney could send over paperwork. Remember that for later. Obviously, in response to that, I tell her that we can hop on the phone. Again, we talk for about 30 minutes in which she refuses to disclose what she wants to talk about. And at the end, she tells me that she's pregnant. At that point, I realized that maybe we do need to talk in person. But because our schedules weren't matching up, we ended up just hopping on FaceTime. On that FaceTime, we talked about a lot of things, including her father working in finance and her mother being an Egyptian national who works in counterterrorism programs in America. Mind you, I don't even know if that's true. And by the end of this, you'll realize that it's really hard to believe anything she says. We spoke about what the plan was moving forward because, frankly, I don't want to have a child with anyone right now, especially not her. Mind you, all the times that we've spoken so far, she's made an attempt to try to get me to come over to her house to talk about it in person. Conclusion of that phone call, she said that she needs more time to think about it, and honestly, that's fair. 2 or 3 days later, she messages me saying, actually, I'll have my attorney contact you, please send me your address. At that point, I'm like, hey, have your attorney contact me because you're being very fucking weird. Now, this is where shit gets juicy. I'm actually making this into a part 2, but I'm gonna post it right the fuck now.
The whole thing with her like saying like don't be sad that it ended, just like be happy that it happened, so whatever, you know, you saw it right now. That is so weird to me, just to like say that to someone, like not jokingly and like being so serious about it. It's just so strange to me. And the thing is, she's supposed to be like 28 years old, okay? You are more than a grown adult. You are more than a grown adult. So like, why are you behaving like a teenager? The craziest part of this whole thing is that, you know, Danisha's friend, who ended up exposing Danisha, was kind of coaching Danisha into like faking a pregnancy to see Khalil again, because Khalil didn't want to meet up with her because obviously she was kind of crashing out or whatever. I don't know if her ultimate goal is to be in a relationship, but I think it's more of her ego is like hurt because he didn't want to like still hang out with her or do anything with her. So I think that's kind of where that's coming from, in just my opinion. Anyways, so her friend basically like exposed her and showed all the messages or whatever, and showed like how she was like, oh, maybe like I should fake this pregnancy, you don't think he'll be mad at me, blah blah blah. There ended up being another thing where I think Khalil got the emails, I might be wrong, but there's a series of emails basically out that are kind of like outing Khalil for cheating on his girlfriend while he was like hooking up with Danisha, I believe.
Danisha Carter is not speaking on the situation with Khalil, and rightfully so. It's embarrassing. Now, a couple of days ago, all of that drama with Khalil and Danisha Carter had spilled over into the internet, honey. And about 18 hours ago, I don't know why I freeze framed on this facial expression, but 18 hours ago, Khalil had posted a part 3 and some other anecdotes and receipts on what's going on with his situation. He had posted the receipts, and this one in particular, from when he had a beef back with DJ Soulchild. That's another creator on this app. And in this thread, somebody had reached out to DJ Soulchild and basically laid out what was getting ready to occur. The thread starts off and says, a TikToker, Khalil, you have beef with, cheated on his girlfriend with a famous TikToker and is scared of that secret getting out. Now, DJ Soulchild replied back and said, oop, any receipts? And that person replied back and said, I have screenshots of him on Raya. And I think that's where it had got disclosed that he was using the dating app Raya. If you don't know, it's an exclusionary app. Well, most dating apps are pretty exclusionary if you pay for the membership, but it's really for famous people high profile content creators and such. Kind of like Tinder Plus or whatever, or Tinder Premium or Hinge Plus Premium, where you pay a higher package and you get more exclusive matches, if you will. Now the person replies back and says, I have all the screenshots of him on Raya and all the messages with her. Yeah, because how'd you get those messages? It's given very much this is Danisha Carter's burner email. Now they go on to say that I'm waiting on more, meaning more receipts. I've already seen some comments about it in his comment section that he is quick to delete. If you make it public, it'll blow up. What do you need? Now the person double replied and said, should I send? DJ Social said send. Oh, but they forgot to redact the email address. The email address is annexing Annabelle. Interesting. Now, I don't know if they was trying to be messy or not, but they did not. That's the email, annexing Annabelle, and it looks like a Gmail at gmail.com. Okay, and the thread finishes out with the person Annabelle. Now we know who it is. Annexing Annabelle says the TikTok girl is afraid to tell her story online. It is so hard to send the screenshots without revealing her. But on the days he is posting about his girlfriend, the girlfriend being the nail tech, they go on to say that he is hooking up with a TikToker at his place in LA. This part is kind of cut off, but it says they something on Raya when he was already dating the nail tech girlfriend. An account called the Raya Catcher commented this, again, it's hard to see, about it a few days ago, and he accidentally admitting it and then deleted in the comments in a panic right after. Other people saying that these text messages were fake, and so he put them up on the screen to show you that these are real text messages between Danisha and her ex-friend who was paying her the $2,000 a month to do their social media, well, whatever. Annexing Annabelle. Interesting.
If I'm not wrong with the context, but that's what I got from it. And the thing is that Khalil didn't even have a girlfriend during this time when he was like seeing Danisha, and then it was a week after he hooked up with Danisha's when he met another girl. So I guess someone was trying to say like, oh, his nail tech girlfriend, he cheated on her with Danisha or whatever, but obviously that's not true because Khalil never had a girlfriend during this time. The thing is that Danisha literally tried to coerce him, Khalil, into having sex with him. And I know it's all like hee hee ha ha, like oh my god that's crazy, oh my god the drama. I've seen things that say oh Khalil's not a good person. I think this also like is just like a running comment when it comes to these kinds of things, which is actually very serious, like coercion. You know, it can lead, most often than not, lead to sexual assault or assault in this context. And I think because Khalil is a man, I think like people aren't taking it as seriously, and I think that that's why I wanted to make this video, to talk about this in a kind of more of a serious way and really look at it at like face value. Like, let's put away all the other petty drama between this or whatever people are saying about her contacts, about her wigs, whatever. The core of this is that Danisha was trying to coerce a man into having sex with her by manipulating him and saying that she was pregnant. She was also, I believe, was going to dox him, or is threatening to dox him, something like that. And I think it's just weird how, and seeing how it's different and how men are treated differently when it comes to situations like this. And I think that it needs to be more talked about how, you know, more often than not, men don't really come out with their experiences with coercion or assault or anything like that. I think this is a very important conversation to have. And someone like Danisha Carter, I feel like it's pretty ironic that like she comes off as this like, you know, confident person. Her YouTube videos, like she has videos of her like cancel culture or like, you know, things to attract men and whatever, like content, that kind of content that she does. And I think it's really ironic that like she's like, oh, don't chase men and blah 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 blah, and yet she's like literally chasing this man that does not want anything to do with her, literally coercing him. Like, I think that's like more than not okay, you know? And I think there needs to be like some sort of consequence to that, because I don't know, it's just really weird. So I think like, you know, Khalil made his videos or whatever because people obviously were saying that he was lying, he was just doing it for clout, blah 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 blah. And you know, I could see why people were like, that's like their first thing, you know, because a lot of people have lied on the internet for clout about like a situation or certain things, you know, you get like the pity party points and for people to like follow them or whatever and to cancel someone. But I truly think that no matter if Khalil is quote unquote a good person or the perfect victim, it doesn't mean that he deserves to be coerced, deserves to be manipulated in this way, because these are very like red flag behavior. I personally think that a lot of these influencers or these higher up people, celebrities, whatever, niche people with a following, they feel like they're kind of untouchable because of their following, because they have so many people like supporting them. However, if you look in Danisha's comments, she's really been baiting people, especially with her most recent videos.
Nope. Sorry, I'm not letting you do it.
And it is a fact. It's really baiting. She knows that people are talking about this. She knows Khalil has talked about this. And I'm pretty sure, 100% sure, she sees the comments saying like, Danisha, are you going to talk about this? Like, you really need to address this. Like, when are you going to talk about it? I think she's just using it to her advantage, that it's causing more people to click on her page, and she's definitely like, you know, enjoying the attention. And the thing that stood out to me that didn't sit right with me was Khalil was saying that Danisha isn't monetized on TikTok. And the reason why that doesn't sit right with me, and a lot of people have agreed to, like, that's the only part that seems weird, is because she has a lot of views and she could totally be in the creator fund and like be making money from it. Leo made a point like how she was like poor and she's not what she appears to be, which is like, you know, I get it, you know, I get it. Okay. Just saying like how she was talking about her parents and what her parents did, but it's kind of hard to believe her, especially with the lies that she was like willing to do. I believe Khalil 100% has the evidence. He has the text and everything like that. So people are like, where's the evidence? Oh, he has the evidence. I think people aren't taking it seriously just because of the fact that he's a man and the way that he's telling his story, you know? There's no perfect victim, even though people would like to have a perfect victim and they're always looking for a perfect victim. And I think like Khalil not expressing it in a certain way, like a more serious way, and the only reason why he brought this in public was because she kept harassing him, which is valid, which is completely fine, you know. I think there's like so many ways to get like your story out there and what you've experienced from certain people out there so much faster and quicker now with the use of like social media and things like that, and it just takes like seconds for people to know about like your situation. And I think the whole thing is really telling of how people view like male victims of these kinds of situations. And I think there needs to be more of a support system for men who do go through these things, because there's barely a support system for women or for femmes who go through SA, for LGBTQ plus people who go through SA. You know, it's more prevalent in those communities, in those groups. There's not as much like emphasis on the coercion part, you know. It's more of like just picking on Danisha for her hair, for her blue contacts, saying like, oh, we should have known because of her blue contacts or whatever, which I agree, like, there's something off, but I don't think that's like the main point. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, her actions should be the alarming thing that we see from this situation. Her actions and how she refuses to respond, which is a response, and baiting people into watching her videos because they're coming from Khalil's video and being like, is Danisha talking about it? It just kind of goes into just like kind of out and, you know, raking up the views, raking up the followers and whatever. And I know a lot of people have said that like Danisha is a conservative or like is a Zionist and etc. I just did not feel like going through her videos, honestly, but her videos kind of all are the same to me and they don't really interest me that much. And I just think like, you know, all of these things are contributing factors, but these actions that she has shown be a nail in the coffin for her of like, obviously she's not a good person and she was like willing to take a pregnancy and to use that to coerce a man into intercourse. Like, is that profound? I don't think so. I think that's kind of common sense. Like, oh, something I also wanted to add is that there was a lot of homophobia in Khalil's comments of him being like, people were like, oh, I thought he was like fruity, I thought he was like gay, and like really like diminishing the experience of like a bisexual man. And just like, I don't know, the comments were really strange to me. And even Khalil like put it in a caption in one of his videos like, can you like guys stop with like the homophobia, because people were just like so shocked that he would like hook up with a woman because he just appeared so like flamboyant, I guess. guess, and like very gay, like not bisexual, but it's like I feel like a lot of bisexual men have a lot of like hardships with their identity just because of people like putting in those homophobic comments about it, and comments about how they think like he's like completely gay, I guess. I just think that's really weird. So if you're gonna put in homophobic comments, you're gonna be blocked and deleted. And I will see you guys in the next video, which might take a little longer to get out because it is a longer video, but I'm gonna split it into 2 parts, so stay tuned for that. Yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Please be respectful, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.